Welcome to the next episode of the Brightsiders podcast. Uh, this episode is brought to you by the book The Four Agreements. We don't actually have a sponsor, but I thought it would be fun to sound cool like we did on one. Anyways, The Four Agreements is a super good book. Have you read it?
Um,
No, you haven't. You don't read. Not that you're not good at it. You
I
just don't choose
we,
to.
we've talked a lot of it comes up a lot.
What?
The Four Agreements.
Yeah, I love that book. That's why.
Okay.
It's so good. Uh, And one of the agreements is not taking yourself too seriously. That's why I love it. You got a bug on there?
It's like a hair.
That's gonna be great for all our viewers to hear. What was that motion you were just
I
doing?
was flossing with that hair that was hanging
Oh,
from the...
that didn't look like flossing, bro. And we just saw you do it.
So about the Four Agreements.
Yeah, so one of them is not taking yourself too seriously, and I love that principle so much. And I also struggle with it because I overthink a lot of things.
We both know that I'm exactly the opposite. I I have to really focus on be trying to be professional and balancing that skill. The big problem with that is that I genuinely love to be the center of attention.
You still do?
Oh yeah.
You're just better at hiding it now?
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I think it's changed over the years, but I think it's changed over the years. But yeah, I mean, like doing the work that I do, I love being up in the front and having a laugh with people.
Do you feel like you've gotten more sensitive?
Um, I I don't know if it's more sensitive.
Growing up, you would have never walked into a room and asked for a lint roller.
So, to explain that a little bit, I came in here this morning and sat down and I asked if he had a lint roller because I was worried about like all the hair on my shirt or my sweater. Um, and I worry about that a lot now,
Lint or just like how you look, period.
both, but not specifically lint and cat hair. That's so we have cats. We have two cats. Do you know how many cats I wanted?
You know
None.
what'd be worse is if you
None.
didn't have cats and had cat hair. Okay. Like what? That would be crazy,
We'd
bro.
all have questions.
You'd be a magician.
But
We
yeah,
have two cats too, and they're nuts.
we have cats because Kylie and Lindsay wanted cats.
Yeah, I think that's why most people get things because someone wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't want cats.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Your communication wasn't very clear.
Before that, I had put my foot down. I said, that's it. No more animals.
And obviously you held to that boundary because now you have two. What happened to that boundary?
Well, I don't know.
Your
Well,
daughter.
I have
Your
a
daughter.
6-year-old with big ass blue eyes. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
that's the thing.
It's hard.
My daughter gets away with everything.
I know. I mean, Lindsay was like, she was like, she saw the orange cat originally, and she was like tearing up, and she's like, I wanted an orange cat since I was a little girl, and I'm like, what
Kind of like the cat
the
from
fuck?
Shrek. You know, gets the big old droopy eyes. She got him.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep. Kylie does that too. So now we have two cats, but
But that's it for
I'm
real.
I'm over it. I've been over it for a hot minute.
You should
So-
stop rubbing your pants.
oh yeah, it's loud, huh? Do you want to rub my pants?
No, I, I felt like you were
Ooh, got
rubbing a
caught up a little
chalkboard.
bit there, huh?
Yeah, my brain is still hearing the
Uh,
chalkboard.
well, my hands feel better now.
Okay.
Oh, question. Uh, because you mentioned it too when I said my hands got dry. You said it's because every time they get wet,
Yeah, every time my hands get wet, they
they
literally,
so dry.
yeah.
It's awful.
Well, this is how I know it's only us. Well, not only us, but it's a few. Fingerprint scanners. When my hands get dry, I can't get in my house. When my hands are full, and I'm like, dee doo, dee doo, dee. Shit. Dee doo, dee doo.
Well, how do you navigate that?
I gotta get them wet.
Wait, wait, wait. You do what?
I gotta get them wet. That's how it works. But if my hands are full, I can't really do that.
True.
I just scream, let me in.
Yeah. Yeah. What if nobody's home?
I gotta put all stuff down.
Hmm. Problem solver.
See, that's why I've gotten so far in my life.
True story.
You just stand there with the fucking boxes. What do I do now?
An asshole.
I'm surprised we I'm surprised we're in a place in our life where we have any normal thoughts.
I appreciate you making an assumption that I have normal thoughts.
What you're somewhat successful in your life, so you have to,
Hmm.
or you at least fake it good.
Uh, I mean, I still have moments where I say things and I'm like, you know, I shouldn't have said that.
This is always funny when people say stuff like this to me, because it's like what I hear you saying is, I'm still human sometimes. I'm still faulty. I still make mistakes. I still say things I shouldn't. Of course you do.
Yeah. As I move through my life, from like all the addiction stuff and then into like working and then even farther into like the professional thing, I I've just done it less. I think that's the only difference. Is I more like I put more value on the work that I do, and I don't say the first thing that comes to mind as often.
For sure.
But that's the only difference.
Again, I hear you saying you've put a lot of work into it, which is
Okay.
awesome. But I don't think it's abnormal to have to put work into it.
No, I mean, no.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like there was a time in my life where I didn't realize that practice makes you better at something. Like I literally thought that if you were good at something, you'd just be good at it. Like if I picked up a guitar and I was good at it, I was like, okay, maybe this is for me.
That's because you grew up with me.
Yeah, who was great at everything. I hated that about you. I hated that so much. You literally do anything. And it's like even worse. Like I taught you how to do your first backflip and then you were showing off doing it for years and I forgot how. And then you were the cool kid. I It wasn't just because of flips. You were just cooler than me. But
I don't think you forgot how. I think like the older you got, you just had more fear.
so much more fear. That's a great point. I think so. Fear ran my life. It really did. I don't know that we've been through so much, but I've never really been able to pinpoint why fear started making all my decisions for me, but it sure did at one point. Like my insecurity, my anger, my all of these things that drove my life, they were all fear. And it's kind of odd because one of the things growing up, I felt like an outsider. Like I always felt like when I walked into a room, there were two groups, me and everyone else.
Hmm.
And I was like, I always felt alone no matter what. And I felt like super nerdy. I felt really unpopular. I felt, and some of that was from when we were younger and we were super poor. Um, but you weren't like that. You know what I mean? And my daughter the other day, we somehow she ended up with some old pictures of me, and one of them is like you and me with our shirts off, and we're like hanging out with our skater buddies, and we're young and thin, and she's like, "Dad, you were super cool." And it was in a time in my life where I felt like a super nerd.
Hmm.
And so it's really perspective is a really interesting thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that happens for all of us though. There's one picture where you and me are sitting with another guy. I think we were doing karaoke, right? But we had like matching vests on, but they were like different colors. Like I think mine was yellow and yours was blue. And we like how our hair was like kind of spiky and it was it was like early 2000. No, it was earlier than that. It was like late 90s probably.
Where were we singing karaoke?
I don't want to do any name drops. Um,
Just to friends or something?
yeah, well, yeah, a friend's house.
We're gonna be famous, so anybody you name drop is gonna be famous.
Um, okay. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Here in town, down the street, down there.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I forgot we were in Uber for a second. Maybe you can beat that just so in case.
But I don't think anyone's gonna care. You didn't have to say her whole name, but I'll beep it. I'll bleep it
You make a good point.
out.
Uh,
You're like,
but
maybe
anyway,
I shouldn't say her first. 271. You could have just
all
said her
right.
first name.
That's true.
All or nothing, bro.
All
Black
or
and white.
nothing.
Black and
Yep.
white thinker.
Um, yeah. Anyway, Fallon beep. So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, you and me and Gary were sitting there doing karaoke for I don't remember what song it was, but
Bro, this may be the same picture my daughter was looking at. Because I'm pretty sure I had a blue vest on. But maybe I wore it all the time. I don't know. That's how I was. I found something I like and I'd wear it all the time. And then people would be making fun of me because I wore the same thing. And now I will not wear something the same week that I wore.
do you want to know what? That literally just happened to me and it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, where somebody asks you, they acknowledge
Do
the
you
fact.
ever wear a different sweater? And then we're talking about this one, but you like wear the same sweater every day. And
Yeah,
it made
because
me
they probably saw you 4 days separated, but they saw you in the same
it
outfit.
made me so
I
uncomfortable.
know,
It
bro.
was like directly like tapped into that like when you're a kid and you have to wear like the same thing every
Yeah.
day for a hot minute. Um, yeah. Wait, how I responded outwardly like was not the same as like how I felt inside, right? And I know that like that happens to a lot of
Devastated.
people.
Yeah. Devastated.
I was like, oh man.
But this is
I didn't put it back on for I don't know, probably 2 weeks.
100%. My wife watched me cut up a shirt because you made a comment about it one time. And this was like, geez, it must have been 18 years ago, 15 years ago.
Not even that long.
You said something about a polo that I had on, and I literally cut it up. I'm like, I'm never wearing this thing again. And you were probably just flicking me shit. This is literally how
Yeah,
sensitive I am.
what was the comment?
I honestly don't remember.
Mm,
I've probably tried to hide it, put it back, and then never pull it out again. I mean, if it was bad enough to make me cut a shirt, I'd never cut a shirt before. It's not like this is an everyday occurrence.
right.
So if it was bad enough to do that, I probably didn't want to remember. But here's the unique thing is that I've always really been like that, and it's been a lot. It's been oh, it's just too much. But you haven't. What do you think brought it on for you? Because this is new. You were literally the guy that didn't give a shit about anything. You were confident. You were, you know,
Um, but I think again, like how people appear outwardly isn't the same way that they feel on the inside. You know what I mean?
well, it can be, but it
Right.
but it isn't always. Is what I hear you saying, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I didn't give a shit. Uh, it just seemed easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's what confidence is, right? I was talking to somebody about this the other day because to me, confidence isn't something you earn. Like there are plenty of people out there who may not have a right to be confident, about certain things, But
Can you give me one example?
I cannot because it's like I have one in my mind, but it would be mean to say there's just certain clothes that aren't made for everyone, and I feel like we're on the same page. Yeah. Uh, I feel like what that tells you is that like confidence is a decision, right? You just choose to be confident. You choose to stand taller.
I don't know if that's true. I think it's really hard because you're heard somebody like they're singing and they've got so much passion and they're just doing it and they not once hit any notes. You know what I mean?
You're making my point. I didn't say someone's an actual good singer. I said confidence. That means that person is confident. It might not be
It's
right.
false. You know what I
It
mean?
might be false,
Yeah.
but confidence doesn't care.
Which I mean, you make a good point.
You know, you might be lying to yourself. You might People might be looking at you like, how does that person think you're a good singer? But to them, maybe they are choosing to be. Maybe they don't care if they are. Maybe they're just choosing like the people that just walk around singing. I'm like, ugh. It, so a part of me wants to be confident enough to do what they're doing, but a part of me too is like, how are you so selfish that you don't give a crap about whether or not people want to hear you or not?
Yeah, so you're like talking about somebody who's like walking down the sidewalk and just
Yes.
belting out. They got
Yes.
headphones on and they're dancing and rapping and
Yeah.
I see that and I get envious of those people. I think that's so rad. That's so cool to not give that much of a shit. You know what I
But
mean?
they
I'm just
okay.
like drive by and they're like getting it. I'm just like they're having a great fucking day.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean?
So again, though, not that I'm trying to be righteous here, but you're making my point.
Right.
Like they're that confidence is a choice they're making. It They don't have to be good at it to be confident.
Right. I don't but they think they're good at it.
That
That's where the
right.
confidence comes up from.
Maybe. Do you think all of them think they're the best singers in the world and that's why they do it? Or do you think maybe they don't care? What about the people who have headphones on and can't even hear themselves and they're just choosing to sing?
Yeah, I mean, there are those people,
They can't know they're doing good
but
because they can't really hear themselves.
I think in my experience, most of the people really genuinely believe that they're good at whatever they're doing.
Yes. So that
But
isn't that the definition of confidence?
yeah, nowhere in the definition of confidence does it say that you actually have to be good at something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that makes the very point, which is confidence is a choice.
Yes.
And what I know is that when I see people who are confident, even if they're not actually good at the thing they're being confident at, it lights something up in me. Like it it makes me envious. It makes me. But if you can,
Mm.
someone's doing it and they're not confident, immediately you're like, whoa, there's something off-putting about it.
Mm. I mean, you make a good point.
I know people who just, I mean, our friend Beto is a really good example where he, regardless of his day, regardless of the fact, regardless of the situation, he's so consistently the same person. He's like just a light. He's just funny. You just want to spend time around him, even if he's not saying anything, even if he's not doing anything. There's just this thing, there's just this confidence that he has.
Yeah, genuinely like one of the most honest and greatest people I think that I've ever come across. And then Lindsay um talks to his wife fairly often because she's involved in, well, whatever, you know what I mean? But they communicate and I just hear stories about how great and you know what I mean, because she is. It's like, yeah. But wait, what does that have to do with what we were talking about confidence?
Well, because I'm talking about the fact that he's just choosing confidence. His thing is spiritual, right? So like his
Right.
confidence comes from a spiritual place. And there are a lot of different types of confidence. Your confidence can come from anywhere. His just happens to come from like his deep belief and confidence in God. And like he he's a perfect example because I don't like talking religion, but just like as a point, nobody knows what's going on, like what God if this thing God is as big as everyone says he is, it's impossible to understand it. It's impossible to for our human minds to be able to like quantify this huge thing that's going on, right? So he can't fully understand this God thing, but he's confident in what he does know, which
Yes.
which I believe can either be fact or opinion because everybody's belief about that thing is different. right?
Yes.
But he is leaving out, he is being somewhat selfish in his decision to leave out and not worry about what everybody else thinks and just be confident in what he thinks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I kind of, I don't know, like detached from it's the religion and
Yeah.
the I just like
What do you
I
feel
don't
like
know.
makes you do that?
I don't know. It's just like one of those things I've worked really hard to, I mean, kind of work around. It's like one of those things like, that in politics and
Yeah, but have you ever said like, have you ever heard anybody say, normally they say like, the no things are religion, politics, right?
Mhm.
Nobody ever said spirituality.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think it's an important differentiator because you can like be full of spirit of love and here's a good point. Self-help books are not called fixing others. They're called they're called self-help, right?
You find me a book where it'll teach you how to fix other
We
people.
should write it.
Bestseller.
We should write. We
Bestseller.
should write it. This is how to be a good person.
Yeah.
The perfect human, and then we'll just like do just bullet points. This is what makes the perfect person. Because I mean, we're so close to it that we might as well just like.
Just 365 pages of bullet notes.
I love it. One for each day. One for each day. You wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
you get a little bit of this. You know how to live your life better because the Maxwell brothers told you how.
After a year, boom.
Fixed,
Fixed.
cured. It's hilarious. Yeah, and because I was thinking about this morning. It's like, um, this idea of like words and what they mean to us. Because like selfish, you say selfish, and a lot of people feel like it's a bad word, but it doesn't need to be. Conflict, same idea. It's like conflict can feel bad, but the truth is conflict is necessary in this world. We should be able to have a difference of opinion and still work through it, still love each other, and your opinion should be able to be the opposite of mine. Like you having that feeling about God, I think I felt that way at one point.
Mhm.
Uh, but we should be able to think completely opposite and there be no issue. Like, why does it matter if we believe the same thing?
Yeah, I know. And I think that's a big problem with like what's happening. Well, I mean, it's always been a big problem, right? With the world or existing in general, is everybody needs their opinion or their viewpoint to be right,
Yeah.
right? And they're righteous in their anger and their whatever. Yeah. Conflict is can be an opportunity for growth. You
Yes.
know what I mean? People don't see that though. That you spend so much time trying to be right instead of trying to be happy.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time.
All the time. I mean, like, it's a huge part of my story too. It's not, it's, I, some people say like, oh, never look back. Or some people, of course, you shouldn't get stuck in something that's already gone, which is the past. But I think it's also really important to look back just long enough to learn from it.
It's like I always think about like is like driving a car, right? You're going forward. I just whacked this thing. So sorry.
You're always
Uh,
whacking things. It's not.
uh, I think of it as like driving a car. So you're moving forward, right? You're headed in a direction. You're in the present, but you're headed to the future, right? You Right. You have to look at where you're going and focus on that. But if you never check your rearview mirror, right, you'll have no idea what's behind you. And you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. But if you're driving down the road and you only stare in the rearview mirror, you're going to crash your vehicle, right? So you have to check your mirrors. You have to look at where you've been
Right.
in order to safely continue to go to where you're going,
Yeah. It's
right?
it's a part of the plan. Like it's just necessary.
Mm.
And I believe conflict is that same principle. It's this like by seeing where we don't want to go, we can decide where we do.
Or just an acceptance of like you have a view and I have a view, and just because you think something else doesn't necessarily affect my my feelings or where, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can still believe what I believe,
Yeah.
even though you believe something else, and it could
Well,
just
yeah.
be that way.
Yeah, and we're kind of talking about two different things because I'm more talking about the idea that um conflict is okay and you're in the topic of like difference of opinions.
No, conflict should be okay. It
Yes.
should be fine. Should be, well, you believe that. No.
Well, it is fine. Conflict is fine.
Well, I'm
He's
using the
just
example of like belief,
yeah,
right?
right.
That was just the example. Um, but any conflict to be separated, you know? Like, hey, like that thing is true for you and this thing is true for me, and to, that's cool.
But isn't that like what it already is?
No, you got fighting on both sides constantly.
Yes, but
Talking like,
that's what
I
we
mean,
create from it.
well, not we, but yeah, other people.
Naturally, you're right. Naturally, we all exist. We have our own realities. Like my true opinion on life is that our reality isn't reality at all. Reality is simply our perspective at any given moment. And all of our perspectives are always different. So if our reality is our perspective and all of our perspectives are different, are we all living a completely different reality?
Huh? No, hey, you that was a tangled web of shit you just spun. There was a lot. I
You should have
understand what
woke
you're
up
saying.
earlier.
I under I understand what you're saying. I don't know if um
Well, then just answer the question. Don't worry about what other people think. If your reality is your perspective and my reality is my perspective, is our which one of our realities is right?
both of them for us.
Even though I can't even know what your reality is, right?
Yes, it has to be.
That means it's an opinion.
Mm,
It's made up
yeah, but
singularly by you.
it's based on the lens that we view the world from
Yeah,
and our bias and our past
which
experiences and
isn't a
all that.
reality
Uh,
because it's mostly coming from here,
but
right?
that's
Right?
like it's like saying somebody that's experiencing psychosis or something isn't reality,
It isn't.
not ours, but it's 100% real to them.
Yes.
And
One hundred percent.
that's what matters.
And that's my point. Is we seem to believe that a reality is a shared experience, and my point is it isn't.
I mean, some levels of that are, right? Some levels of reality are a shared experience.
But only to that person because whatever that experience was is different to each person that received it,
Okay.
right?
No, and
So
you're not wrong.
so the
Yeah.
reality of the same moment differs is my own point.
100%. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
that's why it's important for me that people like realize that because it's proof that there's no way to think exactly the same. There's no way to have the same reality. There's no way to feel the exact same about it. And but then we turn around and we want everyone to think the same way we think.
Yeah,
It's insane.
it is insane.
And I don't think we realize how unrealistic it's not even unrealistic, it's impossible.
Right. Well, that's why we have different political parties, and you know what I mean? There's so many different things. Not that I wanted to get into politics, but there's so many different levels of that. But it's always going to be that way.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. And that's why self-help books aren't fix them, they're self-help. It's like the one thing we can control is skin in. It's like it's me. The one thing that I can even have any influence on is myself. And then hopefully that has an impact on other people, but if I'm focused on what everybody else is doing instead of doing the one thing which I can actually have an impact on, which is my own thinking, my own behaviors, my own actions, then I mean, it's a part of the human condition. It's not a judgment where we all do it, but it's not feeding into like the bright siders idea. It's not feeding into like, okay, do I want to be solution based in my life and like, acknowledge what's going on and then move into, because here's the reality. Some people think that being happy is just lying to yourself. And I don't disagree.
I think that there's more that goes into it.
There's more that goes into anything, but you can take the same exact situation and put them into 2 different days where you receive, say you receive a vacuum cleaner, and the first day you're completely happy, you're in a great mood, and you get a vacuum cleaner. What do you feel?
Uh, I don't joy. I don't.
Yeah, you feel good about it.
Yeah, it's
You feel like
cool. Vacuums are cool. They suck things. You know, you can clean with a vacuum. It's nice.
it's so good. They're so necessary. They really are like a requirement to some degree, right? Okay, but get this. Now, one day you and your lady got in quite a bit of fight because she's mad that you're not helping more around the house. But then she buys you a vacuum. How do you feel about your gift?
Um, well, that's a backhanded action, isn't it?
You don't feel as good, right? That's the point.
Definitely not.
Okay,
No.
but it's the exact same situation. So the reality is that how we feel changes everything.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before. Perception is everything. But how do you when shit is so heavy, you've got bills and life, and you got to figure out like gas and this time of year, like presents and all of that stuff, all the stuff that people deal with on a daily basis. Then the question is like, well, yeah, all of this feels awful, right? And it's just an example. It doesn't all feel awful for me currently, but see, it all feels awful. Now, how do you change your perception so that it doesn't feel as bad?
Yeah, I I feel like if I answer the question simply, it will make it appear like I think it's that easy. I don't think it's easy to do, but I do know I've lived the solution. And what I know is that we let go of ego. Because the reality is you only feel bad when you're afraid of something. Because in that moment, so
Mm,
so you self-analyze it and you go, okay, why am I upset right now? Say you're in that situation. We've both been in that situation where we couldn't barely afford milk. It was almost Christmas time. We're feeling like piece of shit dads because we're unable to provide for our kids in a way, which by the way, no matter how many gifts we get them, it's not enough.
it
But
never feels like
it's
enough.
never enough. But we literally couldn't get them anything. And you're there in that place. Like, why are you feeling that way? Why do you why do you feel horrible? Because honestly, like maybe a healthy home is a mom who's in our same situation or a dad in our same situation who brings the kids in and hugs them tight and says, you know what? You deserve the world and I couldn't give it to you, but I love you guys so much. Right. But instead, what we did in those situations, not all the time, but sometimes, is we felt so bad about what we couldn't get them that we treated them differently, not on purpose, on accident, because we
Sure.
felt so guilty about it.
Yeah.
Right?
That or buried those feelings with something else.
Yeah. So I hear guilt, I hear fear, I hear all of these things. So what happens if we find a way to be in gratitude or we find a way to get out of that fear? Do you think it makes it better? It's kind of like the vacuum story. If we get rid of the story that our mind is telling us, does the gift make you happier?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Did we,
that's the trick.
it's a just, I mean, there's a decision there, right?
It's a choice. Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of wraps back around to you. Um, like I came in this morning and I was like, do you have a lint roller? Right? So I was in that like, well, I don't know if this is what I wanted to wear, and I've got like cat hair on there, and that makes me uncomfortable, and there's not even that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but through a conversation with you, it no longer matters as much because I was focusing on other more important things,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you didn't solve the problem. The problem didn't go away. You have the same issue you had when you walked in, but you feel better about it. And that's the truth. It's like we think that getting rid of the problem, we as humans, the human condition, our minds tries to tell us that to not have problems, it means things no longer happen.
Right, completely solved.
Yeah, but that's not it. This world is a big, beautiful shit show. Like it's beautiful and it's a shit show. And it's, maybe call it free will, call it whatever you want, but humans are crazy. We're all living our own reality with selfish minds and selfish thinking and walking through this thing, even if we're not selfish thinking, we're trying to make the best decision for everyone else so they're not uncomfortable. So it's this dance that is not pretty, right? It's just craziness. And then we're trying to like make sense of it all. We're trying to solve
Yeah.
the very thing that makes it beautiful.
I mean, if you really think about it, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And there are solutions out there, and it, life ebbs and flows, right? You do you struggle, and then all of a sudden, like something happens, and you end up like coming into money, and you feel really good. So you like buy this thing and do that thing and pay that thing, and then guess what? You're like, oh, fucking should have saved some of that, right?
Right.
And then you're like, you know what I mean? Life ebbs and flows, and I think that finding that finding out how to maintain somewhat in the middle of those ebbs and flows. Um, but there has to be a decision there.
Yes.
You have to make a conscious decision to not go down with the ship, but also not,
Yeah. Not be a victim.
you know,
Even if you are a victim, you have to choose to get beyond the victimhood because we were both victims as children. And it just is what it is. But at some point, you have to decide to not be a victim of yourself. You have to move beyond that victimhood. It doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make it not hurt.
which I mean, it's really hard for some people.
It's a,
You know what I mean?
but this is my point. You're making my point
Trauma.
is it's not supposed to be easy. Who said it's supposed to be easy? It's not supposed to be easy. And bad feelings, like things happening that are bad, I'm glad we get to feel. Like what's the alternative?
Are you talking about like what would life be like if there were no like bad feelings?
Yeah,
Very bland. Because, and it's something that you told me a long time ago, is like there has to be gratitude for the dark moments because without the dark, we wouldn't know what the light is,
yeah,
right? We wouldn't know what joy and freedom and laughter was like if we didn't have tears and restraints and sadness, you know?
exactly. Well, and that's the thing is I think we so easily forget. It's like it it takes all of it for us to live in this world. And so if it takes all of it, then having some acceptance about that is like will help us not be a victim. Like the abuse I suffered with my dad, it's like, I was able to forgive him on his deathbed, not because it was okay what he did to me ever, because it wasn't ever. It was just because like I made a decision that that shouldn't have the control over me that it had at one point.
For sure. Um, but I can't help but think that maybe there's a little part of you that deserved that.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
Okay.
I did
Uh,
not see that
uh,
coming. I gotta be honest with
says-
you. I deserved it. That's the crazy
no,
part.
no, no, that's wild. That's a wild statement.
I was such a bad kid, dude.
No, I know there's some things that we
Um,
don't deserve.
no, I
For
know.
anybody that was very taken back by that and feels really bad for him, don't. He deserved it. No, uh-uh. So you got to make light of
Yeah.
those things
Yeah.
sometimes. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that to just anybody,
Right.
because we've been through a lot of shit together. But
Yeah.
you definitely didn't deserve it. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And truthfully, I think that some of what helped me get through it is that someone abused him as well.
Yeah, but there's no fucking excuse.
No, I'm not
It's not an
making an
excuse.
excuse.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is that it makes sense. Like this idea that like bad things happen to everyone, regardless of whether you're a good person, a bad person, a little kid, or whatever. Like because of someone's decisions, things happen in this world, and I don't grow by being angry about it.
But if you didn't sit around and be angry about it and then hurt other people because of that stuff, you would have never gotten to where you're at. That all of
Yeah,
that was necessary for
100%.
you to be who you are.
Yes, I agree.
So how do you sit around like, and there's still people that are, they're angry about stuff that happened to them, right? And I totally get that. We both been there,
Yes.
right? Where you sit around. I mean, sometimes I still am like, why am I not good enough for I'm 41, right? And I
Yeah.
still like, well, why wasn't I good enough for my biological father to be there,
Right.
right? Um, but also,
Like we earn love. Yeah.
yeah, if he had, if that was different, then I don't think that I would have developed like the humor that I had to develop in order to get through the stuff, right? The shit that, especially the shit that came after that.
Right.
Uh, but it's so hard because I'm like, I don't want to tell people like, hey, stop feeling bad about that and stop being angry about that because it's gonna help you become who you're meant to be. Um, but
But that is the truth, though.
it is, yeah. But don't I know, but you can't tell people like how to feel and like this
You're
stop
not
that.
telling
But
anybody anything. You're talking to me.
that's the I think that's a really important part is that all of these things make us who we're supposed to be. In some way, the things that happen to us are preparing us for the things that are going to happen to us, right?
Yes.
People that never go through shit don't know how to get through shit, right? You don't acquire those skills. You don't, your
You're not born
resilience,
with it. Yeah.
your resilience doesn't grow, doesn't get stronger, doesn't develop, right? Without having to have some sort of resilience, right?
Yeah, and you
So,
build that, right? It's like
yeah,
the idea of the egg where or the chicken where like you help it hatch and it dies because it doesn't build that resilience.
right.
It's literally the same premise. And here's what's funny about conflict and opinion. You and I are literally saying the exact same thing,
Mm.
but it seems like we're saying something different because it's coming from a different place. But the truth is like when you try to help someone see something and we share it through like a learned experience, which is you and I both at some point are all the bad stuff, which is really bad. If you've seen our past episodes, if you know us personally, like we've not been great humans our whole lives. And we've done a lot of crazy stuff and not been great people and hurt a lot of people. And it's, like what we know now, looking back, is that all of that makes the miracle of right now. Like we do not sit here together if your dad's in your life. We are not here in this moment if my dad was in my life. We're like literally anything changes and we didn't grow the way we grew, we didn't live where we lived, we wouldn't be in this very moment maybe, right? And
Right.
so do we risk that? I wouldn't. If I went back, I wouldn't. I would do everything all over again, no matter how bad I was hurt, no matter how horrible it felt, all of the things. Like our lives for a long time were literally just devastating lives, just sad and hard and challenging and all the things. And I wouldn't change any of it.
Mm-mm. No.
So if that's true, the truth is that there is no solving it, right? Because you can't go back and change it. So that's off the table.
It's there. Yeah.
That's it's literally like, okay, that's not an option. So if you want this is my thing. Not everything is meant to be solved. A thing my wife and I have is just like, are you venting or do you want a solution? Because not everything is meant to be solved. Sometimes it can just be a valid feeling.
Yeah.
But if you want solution, if you're asking if someone is in this place and they want out, how do they get out? The truth is going to be very similar for most people, in my opinion. And that is you acknowledge it's a lot like the 12 steps, right? You're acknowledging this thing that exists that you want to change. and then you move through a process of being willing to do whatever it takes to change that thing. And our acceptance is what we're talking about. That's
Right. And I think the you said it there is that you move through the thing, right?
yeah,
Through the process. It, uh, we have to without moving through that stuff. We're not developing or gaining the skills to, we build those kind of in the moment sometimes,
right,
right? And we have to go, there's no way to go around those things or just have them solved immediately.
right.
We just, yeah, we got to move through them as uncomfortable as that is.
At some point, right? It doesn't it that point's going to be different for everyone. Risk
Yep.
avoidance is a very good way to avoid risk, right? But it won't feed solution.
Right.
You it's going to take a crazy miracle to avoid solution and then get the solution. The hard part is that we believe that love is like it's this idea that like if you loved me, you wouldn't do this thing. It's not true because we are who we are and then we do things. Like I can love someone truly unconditionally and then in my human condition having a bad day be just ultra selfish and create condition around love, right?
Yes.
But
Yep.
it doesn't change whether or not unconditional love is conditional. It just means I'm a human.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's harder to have the solution and not be able to do it than to not have the solution. Because if we're avoiding risks too much, then it's easy to fall back to the feeling and say, "Well, you're trying to solve my feeling," or you know those sort of ideas. When well, you don't have to be in a solution phase. You can just be like getting. You can be feeling it. That's a part of the. That's a part of it, right? It's a part of the whole process is like acknowledging what it is and feeling through it and being like, yeah, this upset me. This sucks. I hate the way this feels.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
I don't know that it's really possible to move out of it without acknowledging it.
Um, no. I mean, there's so many examples like this. Like the you have to acknowledge it and move through it, and also all of this stuff is building character, right? The embarrassing points in our life and the hard points in our life and the tough points and the conflict and all of this stuff um, is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for growth and development, but you have to see it that way.
Yes.
And to look at something like that and say like, oh, this is really tough, or this person's really an asshole, but like, what's my part in it, right? What can what can we learn from this? Being able to learn to do that is like one of the only reasons that been able to like build some of the relationships that I have today, right? I work with um, Megan. Now, Megan, me started working, I don't know, 3.5 years ago or 4 years, 3.5. Yeah.
Math is hard.
Anyway, math is not for everyone. Um, but it was really tough at first. We didn't get along. We had differences of opinions, how things should go, all of that stuff, right? And I was like, I don't know why she's mad. Like, if she just saw things like as funny as I did, it wouldn't be an issue, right? And it took, I mean, I learned a lot through just navigating that relationship with Megan.
Right.
Uh, is that intention is not perception, and I mean, her view changed too. She said, "Well, this isn't like an awful person. Like this is a wounded child." Like she could see that in me, and I could also see that um that like I was also part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That that just because I intended for something to be a joke or I intended something to be like helpful doesn't mean that it didn't seem uh like controlling or hurtful like to somebody else, right?
Right.
Uh, and that's just one example of like stopped doing what I was doing and changed my perception on it.
And well, exactly. And this is good. Like this follows the idea that the evidence means that conflict has to be acknowledged at some point. The communication has to be open, and somebody has to communicate with you that they don't like something in order for that to change, right?
Yes, but you all have to, yes. I mean, people have told me for a long time, like, that's not funny, or that isn't okay, or you can't do that impersonation anymore. Uh,
What was the impersonation?
nope. Nope.
Do any
That
impersonation. I want to hear
I
anything.
did. I, I'm just, see now, I don't want to overthink it. I'll just,
Do James. Oh,
ooh,
I was gonna
are we
do
do, we're
James
doing this
Bond.
right
I
now?
thought I was gonna do James Bond, but I actually wanted you to do the other guy that I can't think of his name. Batman.
Where is she? So stupid. Okay. Oh.
That was like a psycho ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Which I've also done a really good impersonation of
Yeah,
through
like half your
points of my
life.
life. Yeah. Nobody even had to ask for that, you know?
Yeah, that's how hostages are
Yeah.
taken
When
without
you're
permission.
when you're naturally good at something, you know?
Yeah, what I truly love though about what you're talking about is that you were both able to acknowledge a problem. Some people think that acknowledging a problem, saying that they didn't like something about something is a problem. But it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay.
But it has to be okay for both parties.
No, it doesn't.
But for this, I mean, for in order for us to see something as like, oh, okay, this is an opportunity for growth. Both part, I mean, we can do it by ourselves, but in order for um in order for the world to change like in a positive way. I know that when we talked about that skin in, right? But we can only, I don't know why it has to be okay for, I mean, but it doesn't have to be for everybody.
It will never be.
But then they're not going to grow either. You know what I mean?
It's not up to you though.
I know. I know.
And this is the challenge. This is where things like it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be sensitive to other people. It's really great that we give a crap about other people and we want to care. And trust me, I'm the guy who over cares. Like I sit and I sometimes in tears about the people I love and they don't even care about the thing I'm crying about. It's That's just how I feel. And I think empathy is very important and it's very real and it's very necessary. But when we start making decisions to try to make it okay for other people, that's when we start to fail because we should be able to be who we are. And then if someone has an opinion, they can share that with us, right?
But we have to be receptive to it.
We get to choose to be receptive to it.
I mean, yes, but in order to grow and maintain relationships and be better people, right? To
Yes.
to me, I have to be receptive to it, right? If I want to continue to grow and learn
Yeah.
and develop anything.
100%. And what I hear you saying is very different from what you just said a moment ago because you earlier said that in order to grow, the bad things have to happen. And then a minute ago, you said, but it has to be okay with both people, which means,
Well, and that's why I just meant in the example of both people are growing and you know what I mean? For people to develop and grow, you have to be open to it, right?
yeah, but if you're open to it and she's not, can you still grow?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
In fact, you get the opportunity to grow a little more.
yeah, you're really forced to grow when the
I
other person doesn't grow at all.
mean, you don't have to,
It's very
but
hard.
there's a choice there.
Yeah. And honestly,
The eyebrows thing you just
oh,
did, that's
dude.
a lot of experience getting the opportunity to grow.
I mean, I've had clients who are like screaming at me so much that like a piece of spit comes off their lip and hits me on the face. And I like almost became my old
Yeah.
self real quick. Um, and then I made a conscious decision, like in this specific situation, where I just choose to see him like she saw you, which is like There's this person who's going through something,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can choose to be mad, and my opinion to be mad at someone who just spit on me and is screaming at me is very valid. It's not wrong to get upset, right? But my decision, my choice to let him scream led to an opportunity where he then cried. He then apologized to me for it. He then opened up to me about the thing he was going through. And before he left, we built an amazingly more strong relationship than when he walked in because I allowed it, right?
Yeah.
I could have got upset and it wouldn't have been misguided. It would have been valid to be mad,
Right.
but it likely wouldn't have led to the opportunity for growth that I got because of the fact that I just heard him out.
That's a real beautiful story.
Thanks.
You're right. It Yeah, there's a lot of magic that comes from moments like that. On the topic, um, we these are moments that we grow from, right? Um, I'm curious, do you have like a really embarrassing like moment that you grew from? It's like really not good in the moment that helped develop like your character.
Yeah, the challenge with this question is that I think everything that's ever embarrassed me has challenged my character to be better.
Mm.
Everything. But can I think of something where like it was so big? Dude, everything I did was embarrassing. I was a big
Uh,
an embarrassment. That's
well,
all.
how about like just like a random example to give you some idea. Like, let's say like some kids like wearing makeup and he so one kid's wearing makeup and he's like, oh, I'm gonna fix my pimples or whatever, and then he's like going to school, and then his brother like goes to school behind him and he's like, this fucking dude puts makeup on, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why he sounded like that, but like something like that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because that was literally what I was thinking. But I was like trying to figure out how I grew from
I
that.
snorted.
And I think you're trying to give yourself permission to like be helping me be a better person
You're
when
welcome.
really all you did was torment the
You're
hell out of me.
welcome.
Yeah, so if you missed that, everybody, what happened is I was the only male dancer at CVDA at the time, the first, and I did a lot of dance. And when I did dance, there was like this unique confidence that I felt when I did it. And, it was jazz tap and ballet. So none of it was like cool. It wasn't like hip hop or like break dancing or any of that. But there was something about it that made me feel confident. And when I did it, they put makeup on you when you're on stage. And so I think it played into this idea of like I felt confident when I had makeup on. And I don't know if it was actually the makeup or not, but so I started putting on makeup every morning. And it wasn't like it wasn't like eyeshadow and all that garbage. It was just the the one layer of I don't even know what it's all called. But
Cover.
maybe it was from a compact. But anyways,
Maybe it's Maybelline.
yeah, so like this guy who was supposed to love me and be there
That's
and
a shitty
support me.
delivery. That's a shitty delivery.
So this guy that's sitting across the couch from me went and told everybody at school that I wore makeup.
Mm.
And how it made me grow as a person as I dropped out of high school.
Oh shit. I'm glad that
So did that get where you wanted it to get?
did not. Nope. Actually took a lot for us because I mean, that affected you for years. Um, but I think a really important thing that came out of that for me is that I, at some point, realized how that had affected you.
I
Because
think it took you a long time.
you're right. When you were young, when I was younger, I didn't worry much about things like that. Like
No.
if there was cat hair on my sweater, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I think that uh, that if I hadn't someday learned that like how fucked up that was. Like to in order for me to feel better and cooler, that I had to tear you down and make shit harder for you. Uh, that was an opportunity for me to see that like, and I was a fucking adult before like it really, because I knew I kind of fucked up like when I was younger, but it wasn't until I was like like a full grown like adult where I was um like really felt and took accountability
Right.
like for that. But I'm glad that we both worked through it to a place where we can now, you know, talk about it on a pod.
Yeah.
So
Well, and what's interesting is like,
he said he said that did that get to where you wanted to go?
yeah, I don't, yeah, I think it helped you more than anything, helped you grow.
Yeah.
Uh, but, but interestingly enough, like where I believe I was a victim in that situation. I don't think I necessarily did anything to deserve it. It also, what? You
I
tilted
mean,
your head.
you were an asshole. I mean, because that's after you came back from your dad's,
Right.
and you were fucking angry. I didn't understand at the time,
Yeah.
but
Well, I was heavily abused and
yeah,
I became a monster
mm-hmm.
for sure. Um,
Yeah, and it was fucking scary.
well,
You
I
know what I
had to
mean?
be. I had
I
to
know.
be. I thought I had to be. I thought the monster that I was keeping away from me didn't leave just because he wasn't around anymore. When he dropped me off at the police station, and mom came pick me up, and I came home, and you did this whole thing.
Yeah, I still remember the moment.
I made fun of you for that, and you hated that I made fun of you for it. But what's crazy is like when I made fun of you, I was also it's a memory where I felt the most important I've ever felt in my life because you missed me so much and you were so excited to the point where if you look at photos of me, whether it's chamber, whatever, no matter how professional it is, I always do peace, and it's because of
Hmm.
that. So you'll see a lot of pictures of me doing the peace sign, and that's why I
Yeah.
do it. That's why I do it. Um, but yes, I was a monster, and it's interesting because this comes back to the idea of the abuse thing.
But I mean that we should probably reframe that. You had a lot of trauma and you allowed that trauma to like control who you were and how you but you were a fucking kid. I don't like when you say you were a monster because you weren't a monster. You were fucking you were I don't know.
I was a
You were
monster.
you were
My
you were
actions,
broken by a broken man.
100%, and so was he. And this is where this comes back. This is where it like becomes this thing because someone seeing me, the kid who punched holes in walls every day and like hulked out and would get in people's faces and scream at them and like all the things that I wasn't who I was. It was just I didn't have the ability as a kid to make a decision to not be that way. I didn't
Right.
have the coping skills. I didn't have like we didn't have parents who taught us how to be healthy. So when you don't have that and then you're abused for years on end and you have to become this thing where you're not afraid because he can sense the fear. It's like you learn to make others fear you and it's just by nature.
Yeah.
And so now like I'm this kid who is that, who just wants people to love me. I in the book I'm writing and I hope to publish someday, in the part it says like I I I'm shoving people away at that time in my life and I'm just begging them to hug me,
Hmm.
right? I'm literally shoving them away and wondering why they won't hug me. And it's like I'm creating this thing and I don't even know it. And I just want someone to push through my arms and hug me. And, but again, I don't know it in the moment. And so I
Right.
can't communicate that. I don't have the skills to do it. And you guys didn't have the skills to be able to receive it and just hug me. And again, this is this idea like nobody can take away what happened to me, right? But someone can just hug me. And it doesn't take it away, but it at least helps me feel loved in that moment and helps me get through. Like I tell my wife these days, of course I've come a long way and I haven't hit punched a hole in the wall in 10 years or whatever. But I still like have that underlying stuff because we don't just get better. It's
Right.
still there. And so when I'm talking to, you know, my wife and daughter one time, they're like, "What do we do? What do we do?" And it's like, don't try to. You're never going to be able to solve what I'm going through
Right.
in most area scenarios. Like, just give me a hug.
Yeah.
Like, and my daughter's really, really great at it. When I'm struggling, she'll just come up and give me a hug, and I gotta tell you, it doesn't make it better. But in the moment, there's something that's solidifying that relationship, that touch, that person that loves me unconditionally, just hugging me. It doesn't take the problem away, but it does lessen it. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah. I know. I when I'm get frustrated or I'm sad or I don't feel good or I don't know I'm sore or anything. Cause it's like, well, let me help you, Dad. Like, take my hand. I'll help you up the stairs or
Yeah.
just moments like that doesn't change what's actually happening,
Right.
but the perception, the way it feels, gets better.
And this is literally the reality of Brightsiders. It's like if we can let go of something having to be better, we let go of a judgment. And when we do that, we allow ourselves, because you could have said no, leave me alone. You could have said that to her,
Right.
right? But you didn't. You let her take your hand. And to me, that's when the change happens, is when it's like you stop pushing help away, like I was pushing the hug away.
Mm.
And you finally allow them to take your hand, even if it's just so that they know they're loved, right?
Yeah,
And
even
then
if they're
in
not
return,
actually helping.
yes.
But that I mean that's the main point of the whole thing, right? Is that when life is feeling shitty, we have to get outside of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because in those moments, is she that 6 year old girl actually helping me up the stairs? No, but there's like human contact with somebody who feels like they are,
Exactly.
right? Who is even if it's not helpful, they're showing up for me.
Yep.
That makes all the difference,
So much
right?
difference. This is, and again, this is in the book that I'm writing, but it's like this idea of,
Shameless drop.
yeah, I haven't named it yet, so it doesn't count. Uh, that's because I don't know the name of it. But anyways, this it's this idea of like connection, and we not only like in this idea of what you're talking about with driving and looking in the rearview mirror, but it's also this reality that we have blind spots, that we're
Oh yeah.
when we're in a feeling, we can't see that car that's right there. We can't see that thing that's so clearly there because it's raining really hard, and we're just trying to see through the foggy window and the rain, and we're not looking over here anymore. And having these people in our lives who can, like, it's this idea of boundaries. It's this idea of, like, if I can't tell you you're screwing up and you can't see it, can you walk through it? Like,
I mean, you'll have to get through it anyway. But does it get easier if you have people in your life that say, "Hey, this is a problem,"
yeah,
and then if you're able to be receptive to that and say, "Well, fuck, maybe I should really take a look at this thing,"
yeah,
it makes it significantly easier. It
yeah,
actually happens faster. It feels better, and you're doing it with support, which is strengthening relationships.
100%.
But I mean, maybe you should write a book about that.
It's going to be in there.
uh,
It's going to be in.
all those things are, I think, really important. And not everybody puts importance on them, but it's things feel better. They are easier. The relationships are better. Uh, my relationships with people, there are certain things that really never changed, except for me,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
and that's what.
how I respond to dishonesty or whatever, all the bullshit that comes along with being a human and talking to other people, right?
Right.
A lot of those things really never changed in some of the relationships. Um, but my perception to those things and the level of importance I put on those things, right? Uh, like my son Leo, the youngest of the boys. Uh, I rode him hard because I wanted him to grow up and be better, than me and better than his biological father and better than his mom. And he reminded me of me that I rode him very hard, about doing his chores and whatever this and that and all this other shit, right? Honesty and all this other stuff. Uh, but at the level of importance I was putting on that stuff was was too high. There's too much, right? Uh, for some reason that was so important, and like you will lie to me, right? And then I become righteous in my anger. Uh, but all of that stuff really doesn't doesn't matter that much.
Well, and like, why are you? And this is a question we have to ask ourselves when we're in the situation: is why am I taking personal something that any child their age would probably do?
That I definitely did,
Right,
right?
right. So if we're personalizing something that isn't personal, that's the first mistake.
Well, I mean, it's hard for people. It's really, I think it's just hard for people, especially like growing up in, certain conditions. Um, I don't know if you're not willing to take a look at it. If you, because when you're righteous in your anger, you're right. You have the right to be angry, right? It's that righteous anger that it's absolutely blinding. It creates blind spots.
Yep. Well, and again, this comes back to the reality of like your reality and how things impact you shouldn't stop you from choosing to perceive the bright side, have a perspective of gratitude and change, and then moving through a situation. It's easier said than done. We know that.
Mhm.
But if we're looking at everything we've talked about, the reality is that at every level of all of this that we have talked about, all of it's a choice. We're making a decision at some
Yeah,
point. And we all get to make that decision whenever and as much as or as what that's the thing is like it's you can't really do it wrong, but if your goal is to live a life that is joy filled and gratitude filled, then you have to choose joy and you have to choose gratitude to have that life,
yeah,
or it doesn't just magically happen.
yeah,
It's not wrong to not live a life full of gratitude, right? It's just a gift that you get to have if you choose that way. It, things aren't, they don't have to be good or bad.
right, right. And it just makes me think about like it wasn't that long ago. Um, like I was feeling bad because uh I get in this habit of like comparing myself, like especially to you, right? Because we kind of came from the same place. We went through some of the same things. We both went through the same sort of addiction, and then I look at what you have done since you got in sobriety, and I look at what I've done since I got in sobriety, and if I get in this habit of comparing myself to like my cars to the cars that you drive or where I live compared to where you live, and uh this along with having to make the conscious decision to change perception and the bright side. I mean, we have to avoid comparing, because if I compare myself to you, I'm never gonna live up to that.
Well,
But if
especially
I
when the
can
situations are so different.
right, but if I compare myself to who I used to be, I've I've come so far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not gonna say we all have, but you and I have,
Yeah.
right? Um, so along with those other things that we talked about, I have to I have to remember to focus and compare myself to me.
You get to.
No, I have the way my brain works. I have to look back at where I've been
But it's still a choice,
because
right?
yeah, everything's a choice. I
So if
mean, I
it's a
don't.
choice, then it's get to.
I mean, I could stand up and punch a hole through your window right now. We can do anything we want, right? But yeah, and I get what you're saying, right? That's the positivity part of that. The bright side is that we get to, right? Uh, and that's one of those things you kind of learn in early recovery. Like, I have to go to a meeting. Like, no, you get to go to a
Yeah.
meeting, right? Uh,
In the moment, it's hard.
yeah, and we have to change the process of thought that comes along with that. But when I have to compare me to me, what was because I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, fuck, you got a new truck, and like I'm just trying to pay this bill or that bill, and it's like it was wild. I was like got stuck in that cycle of that shit, and it's whatever. Uh, but then I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh my God, at one point in my life, I I fucking was crying and praying for where I'm at now.
Right.
I was like, oh, I just wish like I could just talk to my kids whenever I wanted, or I could just get in my car and drive, or I had a job that I loved.
Yeah.
And I wish. At one point in my life, I wish for everything I have right now. And then I get to this point and I think, why am I not farther?
Yeah.
Which is that's a vicious cycle to get stuck in because it happens to people all the time.
All of us. Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, and I think that the drive to continue to move forward and grow and do better in a career and get a nicer car and get a house and get all of this stuff is great. Uh, but if you are not slowing down for a second sometimes and just saying like wow, I've reached goals that I've set in the past, right? I've come a long way. Like despite where anybody else is, like I made it here through my dedication and my experience and my love and you know um but and saying all that I do get caught up in comparing myself
For sure.
especially to you. And, but I can't I mean yeah I just can't.
Yeah. I think it's part of the human condition. I really do. I think we all do it. And I think that what I can say is I do the same thing. It's like when I get somewhere, then I'm like, oh, now I do this, and I think that's an important part of who we are as humans is like reaching for more and being
Mhm.
more and doing more, and it's super valid. Like to feel that way and want more in your life and want what other people have. That's very valid. Where the trap exists is when we get in that hole and then we cut off our ability to like be grateful that someone else has something cool.
Yeah.
It's why I was afraid to tell you I got the new truck because I wanted to celebrate with you, but I knew that it had the potential to create this divide with us because like I knew you were in that place that you're talking about. So what's interesting is like you told me, well, I wanted to celebrate with you. I wanted to be there with you. I wanted to do that thing. But you're also telling me that you were in a really tough place because of that exact same thing.
No, I kind of got caught in that afterwards. I really but when you got the car, like I shared with you, you got the car, and like I was jealous that you got the car, but like you came to show me first, and I fucking picked you up and I like spun you around, and we were very excited
I
together,
remember.
right?
I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, that moment, that excitement for you outweighed anything else.
But it doesn't to me. This is the idea. If I have to trade that for you feeling worse about your life, it's not worth it to me.
No, 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 I don't feel worse about my life. Whether you share your experiences, like what you anything, right? Uh, I think naturally I'm gonna compare myself to you and to like, fuck, like why couldn't I have put more effort in or done more or whatever, right? I'm always gonna do that. But sharing in those moments with you, it is way more important than to me, has holds more value to share moments like that than what affects me based on, you know, the comparisons that I make, you know? The
Yeah,
point is I need those moments because then those are moments for us. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So yeah,
I agree, but you're just saying both.
no,
You're
no,
It's fine. I
no,
think people will agree.
no.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I want to overcome my fear for you of trying to make decisions for you, blah blah blah. It again, it comes back to this like crazy thing where um can see so clearly now that I stole a moment.
Sorry,
Yeah, you're not good at that.
I know singing.
That too. Yeah. Are we getting restless?
No,
Um, I can make decisions. I I want to work on making decisions for the moment and less about trying to help not make a negative impact on the other person. And that is definitely something that I can grow in. I feel like me trying to make decisions to make other people feel better is a trap.
so yeah, it's awful.
And it only leads us down a road of like, but it's the same with comparison. It's like you're something in your mind tells you that it's valid to compare yourself to a guy who has twice you know, the amount of time or it is like you're comparing an apple to an orange and then being so confused why you as the apple aren't longer like the banana.
That's you named three fruits.
Shoot,
I know. When you said apple and
I got
orange,
lost.
I instantly my ADHD brain was like, which one am I?
Yeah, you're the
Uh,
orange, but I said apple. Anyways,
Sounds like
apple
an
and
apple
oranges, they're
and a banana.
brothers.
You the banana?
Shoot, you want to be the banana. I am the banana.
So thirsty.
Yeah. Like, why can't I be longer?
Yeah. Oh, which reminds me of something. Um, where
Woo wee woo wah wah.
we were testing the mics this morning, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a recording of that?
No. And
You don't have a recording yet?
no.
Okay. All right. Just
Are
wanted
you
to
wanting
check.
me to play a recording that doesn't exist?
Yeah, if it doesn't exist, yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know if we can even hear it through there. I don't know. We're gonna we can.
yeah, crank it up.
I told you I was gonna be honest on the pod, so this
And
is
this is me taking advantage of that.
yeah. Let's see if we can. Mic check two. Mic check two. Touching, touching it. Whispering now. Oh my god, this is so good. Fuck yeah. Oh, my mouth is literally on it. Oh my god. My mouth is wet. Touching it.
Ah, shit.
Oh shoot.
Stupid.
Your mouth being on a microphone is not funny. It could hurt.
Yeah.
Someone can get really upset about that.
Yeah, there's people out there too.
There's always a person who would be upset about something we do.
That felt better than I thought it was gonna,
Yeah,
but it was
laughing is
worth it.
great, dude.
Oh,
Belly laughing is great. It's something we get to do a lot. That it's the biggest part of when you were struggling, when we weren't spending time together. You were working more. All the things that created it. It's been a really big. Yeah, I moved, so we weren't driving together as much, and so it's like all these things made it hard because we would belly laugh like every week,
like every
once
day,
a
yeah,
week.
every week.
We would be in a car together, and we would belly laugh at least once and like this like connection thing, laughing, taking things less serious than we need to, being like, because you can choose to be offended by anything, but you can also choose to let something just be funny. And that's the challenge. Like, I don't ever want to offend anyone, But if I'm walking around making every decision in my life in order to not offend someone, it's
Ugh.
it's what happened with the truck. It's literally what happened with the truck. I didn't do it because I didn't want to make you upset that you didn't have the truck. And I stole that moment from us
Yeah.
in trying to do something nice and trying not to hurt somebody's feelings.
But I think that I kind of caused some of that too because instead of choosing to focus on what I do have, I was like, I got stuck in what I don't have,
Yeah.
and it had nothing to do with you. That stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's the like not enough money and how all the other shit that like it's always gonna be there. All that stuff's always gonna be there,
Yeah.
right? Uh, and I think that I got stuck in that and focused on that so much, which caused you to make a decision based on that stuff.
Yeah.
And
It
we
came into
both
play. Yeah.
so both of us because of the choices that both of us made, we didn't get that moment.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that moment. You know what I
And
mean?
now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Now we know we've been honest and vulnerable about it. We can change it. We can do it differently next time. And then and again, this is a part of like that conflict was necessary for us to learn it.
But both parties, I mean, in order for me to grow, I had to be willing to hear you say that. Like
Right.
I and same goes for you.
For sure.
Um, yeah, I just love that we're in a place where we can have conversations like that. Um, different views of like reality and what's happening, and then be able to meet in the middle and uh, you know, because
Yeah.
this wasn't always the case. I know.
Most of our lives it was not there's no way up to the age of 30, and I'm 42 now. That means only in my sobriety, only the last quarter of my life did I believe we would ever even actually maybe get along.
Right.
Like I've always loved you,
Hmm.
but we have always been such different humans, and like it's crazy because I looked up to you so much my whole life. Like a lot of things. So there's a lot of stories, but the reality is like I just wanted to be like you. I wanted to be as cool as everyone thought you were. I wanted to be as funny as everyone thought you were. But there was no way like I just didn't have the ability because I didn't even have enough coping skills to be able to let somebody make a joke that I could then make funny because I would take it personal
Every time.
every
Yeah.
time. I was so like, and it wasn't like I was going, "Oh, should I take this personal or not?" No, it was
Yeah.
literally like me just being devastated emotionally from someone making fun of me and just falling apart. Everything in my life sucks. It's like this huge, big thing. And then it was like, someone's like, I was just joking with you. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Sure you were.
Yeah.
It's a trap that I set for myself.
Hmm.
And then I'm mad when it goes off. And again, this is why, like, whether it's my fault, your fault, it doesn't matter. Because if you can help me out of that hole that I'm put dug for myself, then why does it really matter? But two things have to happen for me to come out of that. I need someone to reach down to help me out because I'm not strong enough to do it on my own. And I need to reach up to grab
Yeah.
your hand to help me out. But if you reach down and just grab me and I'm not helping myself out of the hole, there's no way you're pulling me
Dead
out.
weight, not happening.
No.
Right. And just so everybody's aware, this is an analogy. We're not metaphor analogy.
What are you metaphor?
I don't.
We're talking about careers. What are you metaphor? It's an
Why
analogy.
is it? So I was right. I don't know what happened to my brain.
I don't know. I don't think it was ever there.
Anyway, fair play.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. And damn it.
It takes both sides is the idea. It takes both people doing work, whether it's recovery, whether it's wanting, but you're making a decision that you want out of it. You having the connection, having the people around, all of these things are like there's no single answer. There's no one thing.
Right.
But where it starts and where like yes, you make a decision in the beginning to see it as something you want to change. And then you make a decision to do something to change it. And then what seems like every waking moment, just like recovery, it's like I have to exhaust myself just to get to default, like to this normal level of like just not drinking after 12 years, just not having a thought, not seeing it on TV and the drip drop down the cup and not go like, huh, I wonder what that tastes like all these years later, you know?
Yeah. There's all, but there in all of this, there's willingness.
Yeah, to see it, to do it, to and that's the interesting part about perspective too is like it's we have things that are born in us and trained into us, but then to some degree we can rebuild that with the decision to choose how we perceive things. But you have to challenge that perception.
Mm.
You have to be willing to hear it, you have to be willing to receive it, and then you have to challenge, you get to challenge that perception and go like, okay, why am I seeing it this way? Why am I feeling this way? How do I actually want to perceive this? How do I want to feel? What do I need to move into? And then you get to choose whether or not you move into feeling, solution, what part of your life you're in. But it all comes down to choice. It all comes down to perception. And I think that if people can allow themselves to take their power back, right, and see it less as something that's being done to us and more about the opportunity that we have to get out of it,
Hmm.
then we like remove ourselves from being the victim. We remove the ego because I think ego is some part of it. You know, the ego feeds into you thinking you're less than because I have something different than you have, right? You only see it as more, right? But you don't have to see it as more. It's just more to you because that's how you're choosing to see it. So it's you saying like I want a cool truck too, you
Yeah.
know? And if
Yeah.
that's what you're saying and you want to move into solution, then you go, okay, what does he do to get it?
Right.
Because the things that I do in my life to make things happen aren't any different than what anyone else can do. I'm a high school dropout who owns a successful business who couldn't even go a few days without punching holes in walls because I made many years of decisions that fed into a new perception, that fed into a self-belief, that fed into uh, this outcome that I wanted to achieve. It's seeing something as a roadblock and then finding a way to walk through it and create the solution that I want. But it all takes perception, it takes decision, it takes action, it takes me doing all of those things together and choosing to put my energy into this thing that creates this outcome. It's not like it just magically showed up in my
Right.
driveway.
Right.
So then it's like, you know, you've said to me before, like, I want the life you have, but I don't want to have to do all the work or do all the things or do all the whatever. Like, and that's a
But
choice.
and there may be some truth to that. Typically, that's like I'm fucking around when I say that, you know.
Yeah,
But I have started putting more effort into that.
that's good.
Um, working long days
Yeah, I'm proud
on
of
the
you.
weekends.
I'm really proud of you, all that you've been putting into it because,
It's hard because there's this. You either get time with your family, or you make more money, and finding that balance is really hard. Especially as Kylie's 6, and that well, walking through the front door and having her run up and she's like, "Daddy," and just wants a hug. You know what I mean? Very excited to see me. Uh, that those are the moments. You know what I mean? And I'm sacrificing the moments like that to have more money. Uh, and that finding a trying to find the balance there is hard because I feel better because there's more money in the bank, and worse because I'm not getting moments like that with Kylie or with the family, or I'm getting plenty of time with the family, and there's less money in the bank. The only problem there is that I'm sitting around and then I'm angry at myself because there's less money in the bank, and like, you know what I mean? I'm feeling down
ugh,
on myself, and I'm not fucking. I could be doing more, and then I'm not. Even when I'm present with the family, I'm kind of shitty anyway. So I guess I kind of uh I would just work through that a little bit. So It's better to miss some of that time with my family than to be there and be shitty anyway.
Yeah, and I think what's all, some of this is the fact that we had the childhood we have. That's why you feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
If we had a perfectly healthy home, you probably wouldn't be like working going, "Oh, I'm such a bad dad." You would be working going, "This is me being a good dad."
Your provider, yeah.
Because she can't be there in a home for you to walk into and to be excited if she's not well fed, if she isn't warm, if she's not happy.
Yeah, I think part of that too is that these are moments that I miss with the two oldest boys,
Exactly.
right? So now that like I'm in a place in my life where I can have moments like that with Kylie and I don't take them, it's directly tied to, the guilt from uh, kind of not, not putting more effort into those moments, like
Yep.
when my two oldest boys were little.
And super valid and super real and super heavy and super honest. And then we get to look at the idea of like, but at what point is it feeding sickness for you to make all your decisions based on guilt?
Yeah, well, I mean, guilt's like an internal system, right? It was designed to make us change a behavior. That
Not
like
just feel bad.
right. It's like, oh, this is causing discomfort. It doesn't align with my values and my beliefs,
It flips
right?
the light to
I
action.
should change
Yeah.
something so that I don't feel that.
Yes. But if we don't move into that action, if we don't move into that change and we just sit in it, that's not what it's meant to be. And so what I see you doing is like you're working through that, you're moving through that. Um, something that I tell my boys because I've, two boys in the armed forces, another one going in soon, is like there's a point where like a father isn't a bad dad who is overseas and fighting for our country who never sees his kids, right? Balance to some degree is a lie.
Yeah,
Like we got to do what we got to do, and not everything is about feelings. Not everything is about every moment of happiness and joy and someone seeing us every moment, versus us like creating and showing our kids that when you want something in your life, you work two jobs. When you want to create solution in your life, sometimes you can't be around. You're teaching them healthy things that we never got to learn.
right. And I think that part of that is a lot of the stuff that is healthy now doesn't feel healthy because it's directly challenging the beliefs and the feelings and the thoughts that kind of were acquired through
Yeah,
childhood
that you've
trauma, like
always known.
childhood experience.
And so this comes back to this idea of like our feelings are valid, but they don't feed into solution. We have to do something with them, and they are sometimes lying to us. That's the thing. It's like
Right.
that it's lying to you. You aren't less than just because of your childhood. You aren't a bad dad just because you're not there. Your brain is like telling you all these BS lies and you're believing them, and then because we call it valid, because we say the feelings are valid, that it can't be changed. No. You're it takes a lot of work to change. It takes a lot of work to change a perspective. It takes a lot of work and time and energy to change how we act, how we communicate, whether we take things personal,
Hmm.
the guilt and the shame, all the things. And, if there's anything that we've talked about and it hits home, it's just, again, like we get to choose. And there are a lot of things that change our perception, but it's important to let go of ego and be able to say, like, maybe my mind is lying to me.
Yeah.
And then being able to, like, find the bright side, find something to focus on that's positive. Because this fake it till you make it thing is a very real reality in the sense of like if you sometimes I'll just put on music and just jam out and feel better. Sometimes I'll watch a comedy just to like get out of a feeling. And it's this idea of like, is telling your kids that Santa is real a lie, or is it like allowing a miracle?
Which is a problem I'm having this year.
Tell me, and then we have to go.
Uh well, like Kyler's like, Dad, is Santa real or is it like you guys buying me presents? And I
What
don't,
prompted that? Do you know? Because she's young for that.
I mean, she's 6.
Yeah, that's
Well,
young for
she
that.
knows the tooth fairy's bullshit.
Well, everybody knows the tooth fairy is garbage.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we would have teeth everywhere. You know.
gross. I don't know exactly what prompted that. Uh, but I don't like, here's my, I don't want to lie to her. So I followed that question up with another question.
Which is
Dad, is Santa Claus fake or is it you guys that get the other presents? And I'm like, well, what do you think? Just
I love it.
because I
I
mean,
love
I'm in
it.
a loss.
In my
Uh,
opinion, that's perfect response.
yeah, because I don't want to ruin the magic, but
Yeah.
also I don't want to lie to my kids.
Well, and this is what's crazy about this whole topic is that if someone chooses to lie to their kids, I don't think it's wrong about
Yeah.
Santa. If someone chooses to ruin the miracle, I don't necessarily think it's wrong because I get that they want to be honest. But you just choose what you value and then you walk through whatever the situation is and stop judging other people for doing something differently than you do it because they don't live the same reality as you. They don't see it the same.
Right. And since we're on this topic of truths and lies, well, let's just end with this thing that I thought would be entertaining.
Okay.
Uh, two truths and a lie. No, I have my photos here. Well, I'm gonna show you that video after this. So essentially, I mean, people probably know how this works, but essentially, what this um, is I'm gonna give you three facts. Two of them are absolute facts, and one of them is not,
Is that why they call it that?
just like the name implies.
Now, is it about you?
No, just facts about
Ooh,
things.
okay.
Uh, Next time I think they will be a little bit different, more relating to us. But in Switzerland, it is illegal to own just one guinea pig because they are social animals and would get lonely. So having only one is considered animal abuse. Two, a flock of flamingos is called a flamboyance.
Hmm, that's a good one.
Three, Missouri has caves that store 1 million pounds of government owned cheese kept at a perfect temperature of 36 degrees Fahrenheit.
I want three to be the lie because that's just cheesy. Um, but the government does some pretty crazy things, and so even though I don't know this answer, I'm going to assume it's not that because I believe the government would do something so stupid. Uh, and the first one feels true no matter what. So the second one, the flamboyance thing, I want it so badly to be the lie that I
What?
hope you say that
Why do you want that one to be the lie?
because what the flock did, it a flamboyance,
It's
like
a flamboyance of flamingos.
no, it's not because buoyant means like you could shoot them and they will float.
Okay.
That's what buoyant means.
Have you ever
So if they're flamingos who float, then they float together. Anyways, two is a lie for sure.
a flock of flamingos is in fact called a flamboyance?
Humans are so dumb. Why do we make the decisions we make?
And it was kind of a trick question because I asked Missouri caves store 1 million pounds of government cheese kept at 30, perfect 36 degrees. The lie was it's not 1 million pounds. It's actually 1.4 billion pounds of cheese kept in Missouri caves.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so the government's even worse than you thought.
they do everything in billions, don't they?
1.4 billion pounds of government owned cheese is kept at a perfect 36 degrees in caves in Missouri.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
It's also crazy that we're so flamboyant.
Yes, bitch.
We are going to an Oregon Ducks game, and I'm excited. It is playoffs, and it is Oregon hasn't been in such a great position in a long time, and so we're gonna go sit in some great seats They say it never rains in Autzen Stadium here in Oregon, but half the times I've ever been to the game, it's rained. So I don't know what lie they're telling themselves, but hey, as long as it's the bright side,
Yeah,
then I have no judgment.
it's gonna
It,
be fun.
it's gonna be a
And we
lot of
have
fun.
waterproof gear.
Yeah,
I've been sitting here in my waterproof fleece lined pants this whole time.
sweating your ace off.
Yeah, they're wet on the inside now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
They're water.
they're not that it's
They
not that bad, but they're gonna be useful when it's cold outside. So,
Yeah, but it also makes it a lie that you call them waterproof
well, they
because they're
keep
creating water, aren't they?
yeah they keep moisture in and moisture out.
Yeah, that's
The
what they should
pants
call it.
themselves stay out.
That's what they should call
Yeah,
it.
I mean they're waterproof.
The
No,
moisture
my sweat
barrier.
can't get
The
out.
moisture barrier.
Moisture wicking.
That's a cool way to say moisture wicking. Sounds like a karate move or something. All right, man. Uh, Thanks for hanging out with me, and I love you a lot, and I'm really glad that you are choosing to have a perception of one that helps you grow instead of being stuck in the crap you were stuck in because it can get hard. It can
Mhm.
get really hard.
Yeah. Well, I love you.
I love you too. Bye.